New tonight at 6, as millions of Americans wait to see who wins this election season. New research shows political and social tensions are impacting workplaces across the country.
Yeah, experts say more coworkers are talking about politics, making it more important than ever to prioritize civility on the job. Eugene Daniels shares the findings and some tips to keep in mind.
Soon, Americans expect to know the winners of this year's election, but that doesn't mean the impacts of the political season will go away, including on the job. A new poll released by the Society of Human Resources Management says 84% of U.S. workers agree the current political climate impacts relationships in the workplace.
We know that discussions about political activity are occurring in the workplace. So if they are occurring, it's important to put guardrails or boundaries around those types of discussions.
Jim Link is the Chief Human Resources Officer for SHRM. The organization serves more than 300,000 HR professionals across the world. He says employers must make sure civility is part of the workplace culture moving forward.
Civility is the act of ensuring that everyone is heard, that everyone is included, that they're valued and appreciated. And that honestly is hard to do.
The study released a week before Election Day shows 47% of workers say political differences contribute to tensions on the job, and just under 70% think their employer can do a better job of addressing the issue. Link suggests companies create guidelines for political discourse and emphasize civility as part of the culture in the workplace. In the end, he says it comes down to respect, trust, and inclusion.
Civility for us is part of the solution set for how we need to think about what we're dealing with today, but more importantly, what we'll be dealing with tomorrow.
In Norfolk, Eugene Daniel, 13 News Now.
Study also shows politics as a leading cause of stress and suggests employers help by providing access to mental health resources. All right, that's 13 News Now at 6.
Disagreements over politics have sent workplace incivility to an all-time high this year, according to one human resources group. NPR's Maria Aspen talked to HR leaders about how they're preparing for Tuesday and beyond, and she joins us now. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Aisha.
So we've seen lots of disagreement online and even at polling places, but what has that looked like at work?
So there are a lot of tense water cooler conversations at the physical office, but also over Zoom or social media. In fact, let me play you a clip.
It's getting hot out here.
That's Johnny C. Taylor, Jr. He runs a group of HR managers called SHRM.
We literally are seeing month over month increases in incivility, and incivility specifically in response to one's political opinions or one's perceived political affiliation.
And there's a financial cost to all of this tension. Taylor's group estimates that all of this incivility is costing employers some $2 billion a day in lost productivity.
$2 billion a day. Is that because workers are ignoring their jobs and just sitting around arguing about who should be president?
I mean, there's some of that, but it's not just that everyone's arguing. It's about what happens after you might have a tense confrontation with a coworker.
On average, after an individual experiences an act of incivility at work, it takes them 31 minutes to recover. That impacts productivity.
Aisha, it's worth remembering that we spend about a third of our lives at work. So it's inevitable that we're going to bring some of how we're feeling into our jobs. And with a lot of people on edge right now, it's going to be even harder to stay focused.
So what's the answer then? Can employers just tell everyone to leave the politics at home?
This is what surprised me. I thought that was going to be the advice I got when I started talking to HR leaders. We've seen some big companies like Coinbase and more recently Google saying exactly that, telling employees to leave the political debates at home. But that's really hard to enforce. And some companies are recognizing that. I talked to Melissa Anderson. She oversees HR for Albemarle, which makes lithium for car batteries.
The best way for them to handle their emotions is to feel like they have a safe place to talk about it, and to be able to engage safely and to feel supported.
So Albemarle has created some employee resource groups and also hosted some internal meetings for employees to get together and talk about current events that are affecting them.
So as we go into this week, what else can employers do and what can we as workers do?
Well, for us workers, take a breath and remember to treat everyone, including our coworkers, with respect. For employers, it really varies, and some of it is kind of extreme. Taylor told me that some small businesses are even canceling meetings on Wednesday and Thursday so that employees who voted different ways aren't forced to interact. But as you know, it might be days before we know the election results, months before the inauguration, and we're going to continue to face a lot of other uncertainty at home and at the office. So, in general, whatever your company's policy is about talking politics or not talking politics, there should be a policy. If you don't already have one at work, it's still worth starting to think about it.
That's NPR's Maria Aspen. Maria, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I am not prejudiced.
Making their closing arguments with less than 24 hours before the polls open. The Trump and Harris campaigns are working hard to sway any undecided voters to their side. NBC News' final national poll of the presidential campaign shows it's a dead heat. Trump and Harris each getting support from 49% of registered voters. And as we close in on Election Day, security and safety are top of mind.
That's right. So we're talking about poll workers, election offices, and even party offices have been targeted with threats and hateful messages. 11 Alive's Faith Jesse is here to share a message that has one office really concerned about safety.
That's right, Ron. The Cobb County Democrats say that they have been getting nasty messages for weeks, but they say a call they received over the weekend crossed the line. We did bleep out the language, but a warning tonight. Some of you might find what you're about to hear offensive.
Hey, Cobb County, we're not going to vote for that Kamala. We're going to make sure that don't get in office. You understand?
A jarring message sent to the Cobb County Democrats office over the weekend.
And when y'all lose, I hope everybody in the Cobb County office goes and kills themselves because they're pieces of you f***ing lovers.
We've probably gotten 30 or 40 more so on the using profanity, but nothing to some extreme of go kill yourself, using the N-word.
Essence Johnson shared this Google voice note of the call showing it came from a Chattanooga phone number.
It was scary.
We called the same number and someone picked up.
No, who you say you're with again?
I'm with 11 Alive News. He denied sending the voicemail. Still, the message in their inbox remains.
So when y'all lose, you f***ing lovers, y'all are going to hate your life.
We reached out to Georgia Republicans who say they've also received ugly messages. Georgia GOP Chairman Josh McCoon sent us a statement saying, in part, as chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, I have received numerous threats as well as our staff. Threats of violence have no place in our politics. Why do you think the Cobb Dems are being targeted?
One, we are probably one of the counties that are on their list. I think that has been across the board that Cobb County is a target. We've been the bellwether. We've been the epicenter. When you have a feeling about a candidate and you're, just don't disrespect and don't put someone at risk.
Yeah, so Johnson says that the office has reported the message to the Cobb County Police. The Secretary of State's office has stressed it is working with local election offices and law enforcement across the state to make sure voting locations are safe and secure when you go out there tomorrow.
It's really a shame, Faith. Thank you. Well, tonight, no need to worry. That's the message from the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office and election officials after a text thread is shared across the state. The messages warning voters to be on high alert, claiming the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, is planning to attack black women specifically from Election Day until the inauguration. The Sheriff's Office says the text is not credible.
Black worker laid off due to role elimination. Then white worker gets his job, feds say. A black project development manager was told he didn't fit company culture and was fired because his role was being eliminated, federal officials said. Then, a white worker with less experience got his job, according to a lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Georgia. Now, Sureste Property Group and its divisions have agreed to settle the discrimination lawsuit for $75,000, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission announced November 4. McClatchy News reached out to the company for comment November 6 and did not immediately receive a response. The man was hired as a project development manager at the real estate firm in Atlanta in November 2021, the lawsuit says. He had a Master's of Business Administration degree and had over 8 years of experience in commercial real estate, according to the lawsuit. The other project development manager was a white woman, and federal officials said she worked fewer hours, had fewer projects assigned to her and was paid more. The man said he often worked late and on weekends, and he said he did his job well, according to the suit. Around June 2022, the company's CEO told the man's supervisor he was lazy, needed to be fired and his position was being eliminated, federal officials said. The supervisor then told the man he was being fired due to his performance and because he didn't fit company culture, the filing says. A separation notice listed role elimination as the reason for his firing, according to the lawsuit. About a month later, the company promoted the marketing manager, a white woman, to his role as project development manager, officials said. She didn't have a college degree and had no experience in project development, but she received a raise and annual bonus, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit, filed in April, says the company violated the Civil Rights Act. Historically, the company has not afforded African American employees the same employment opportunities as white employees, the lawsuit says. The EEOC accused the company of racial discrimination, saying the non-discriminatory reasons for terminating his employment are false and pretextual. As part of the consent decree, C.O.W.S agrees not to discriminate or retaliate against any employees and agrees to educate and train employees on their rights.
The first thing we're going to do is, I think, stop racism and stop focusing on racism.
Stop focusing on racism.
Black Kansas City police officer sues, alleges he faced discrimination in helicopter unit. A Black Kansas City police officer who has been with the department for 16 years has sued, alleging he faced discrimination during training in the helicopter unit. The lawsuit was filed last week in Jackson County Circuit Court by D'Angelo Dotson. His allegations of discrimination are the latest to face the department, which has settled numerous claims brought by its own officers. The Kansas City Police Department generally does not comment on pending litigation to ensure fairness for all sides involved, Captain Jake Bekina said in an email Monday. A 2022 STAR investigation found that KCPD disproportionately disciplines black officers compared to their white colleagues, and that the department has struggled with recruiting and retaining officers of color. The latest data shows the department continues to fail at reflecting the racial makeup of the community, with 11.6% of its officers identifying as black in a city that is 26% black, according to a department report from August and the U.S. Census. Dotson's lawsuit says the helicopter unit has not had a racial minority or a woman complete training in about 2 decades, and it is currently staffed with 5 white male pilots. He began the flight program in January 2023 and needed 300 hours of training, but alleges he only got 2.9 cumulative flight hours in his first 6 months. Meanwhile, his white colleagues got more flight training time, the lawsuit said. He was also counseled or written up for things for which his Caucasian, male colleagues in the unit had also done but for which they did not receive discipline or counseling, the lawsuit said. After Dotson went to Human Resources, he was grounded from flying. The unit became more hostile and his opportunities were significantly limited, the lawsuit said. In December 2023, he was terminated from the unit and sent back to patrol. Dotson filed complaints alleging discrimination and retaliation with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Missouri Commission on Human Rights, or MCHR. In August, the MCHR issued a notice of his right to sue. The U.S. Department of Justice launched an investigation into KCPD's hiring and employment practices following the STARS investigation. The police department on Monday referred questions about the status of the investigation to the DOJ, which declined to comment.
Context of White Supremacy. Gus T. Renegade still on location. California, Berkeley, not San Francisco. In for another broadcast. Exclusively available via phone. So if you use social media, smoke signals, phone, yell out the window, let other non-white people know. Not online, just for today. Something specific about Cal Berkeley. It is not Gus's incompetence, no malfunction. Something about being on the network at the University of California, Berkeley, does not allow me to do the login so I can do the live stream. I can call and do everything else. This is the only thing. I will definitely not be here tomorrow, so that will not be an issue. Seems like we had the election this week. We should do the compensatory call-in, so that'll be tomorrow, and we should be back online so that people can listen regular. Today's date, Friday, November 8, 2024. So I have been told. This is our weekly broadcast, Neutralizing Workplace Racism. Again, we are broadcasting live, just not online, only available via phone. Dial in 605-313-5164, the code 564-943#. Press star 61 if you would like to participate The number again, you can only listen via phone. Let people know Neutralizing Workplace Racism is on if they had a stressful week because of the election or just on the job in general. We are here. This is for victims of white supremacy, non-white people having problems on the job, at work, even if you work from home. This is why we broadcast every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. The number 605-313-5164. The code 564943#. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Alrighty. All of that said, I would have probably been back San Francisco side of the bay and broadcasting normal, or even just left the campus of Berkeley, but I shot out here bright and early today, as I did yesterday, to go and research. That's the whole reason for being in California. Research. And this has been work, a business trip. This is not fun and frolic, and the weather has been, beautiful and sunny, both in LA and here in the Bay Area. So it easy could have been, let's go to the beach. Let's go do some hiking. I'll kick it by the water and see some of these cute young ladies, and all of it could have been doing that, both LA and San Francisco, all about the research. Started this morning bright and early before 9 a.m. and it was beautiful, sunny, lovely, clear blue sky, California. What could be better on a Friday? In the library, Jonestown material, photocopies and copies and copies, boom, boom, boom. Even double whammy for today. I had things on my calendar that I already had tickets and confirmation for, boom, boom, boom. Be business. It's a work trip. Got the email reminder about an event that was happening today, this morning at 11 a.m. Nazi theft of artwork. I was thinking, man, I got my Jonestown material and all that, and stay here, keep going. But I was like, I've been doing this every day, and even at the same institution, I got up and did the exact same thing yesterday, 9 a.m., boom, 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 copy for hours and hours. I said, I'll break it up. I can come back, do this beginning of next week or even later today. I said, I'll break it up. I registered to be here and be part of the event, and it's right here. It's not like I have to go anywhere really far. It literally, I think it was like 10 minutes. It was just walking to a different part of the Berkeley campus to hear this discussion. Wow. I am so glad that I did. Just wow. I told you it was about Nazi art. I did not grasp. I guess I didn't read the fine print, or maybe I did, and it was a long time ago because I registered and all that like weeks ago for this while I was still in Seattle. And this wasn't even last minute Seattle. This was like a while ago in Seattle. So I could have read it and just forgotten easily. LA was traumatizing. But the presenter was a white woman born in Brazil talking about Nazi theft of art in World War II, which made it even more fascinating, right? Then she starts off talking about her German heritage, and this presenter is a white woman with blonde hair, probably not natural, but she's talking about her German heritage. Now she has dual citizenship, not just in Brazil, but also in Europe, probably German. She got these German scholarships to go and research. I'm flabbergasted, and she explains she's got all this European heritage, German, as a part of the deliberate, willful whitening process in Brazil. That's how she starts this talk on Nazi theft of art during World War II. I immediately, all thoughts about, man, lame old event, could have stayed over. And what I was doing when I came to this event was going through the Jim Jones records. Man. Specifically at the Berkeley Theology Library, which is separate from the white people account, separate from the different library that I'm at now. The theology library here, they have all of this Jonestown material. Some of it is children who were in Jonestown. They came back to the Bay Area and did interviews about their experience, and they just transcribed all of this, recorded it, and they made transcriptions. But, I mean, it was like people that were 10, probably a lot of these folks black, 10, 11, 12, been in the People's Temple for 10 years. That's what I said before about why didn't they leave and all that. Well, if you're 15, where are you going to go? Your parents are here. Anyway, these people are talking about what they experienced, how long they were in the group. Some of them were there the day of the killing, the white night. They were there and observed all that and escaped, right? I mean, stunning material. Get all this. But when that white woman got up there and said all that, the whitening process in Brazil, and that was the jump off point, oh man, had my attention. And then got to the Q&A. Are you classified as white? Can you give us more details about the whitening process in Brazil? She was happy to provide details on both accounts. And she gave the regular for Brazil. Oh, we don't have all that now. It's being talked about a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And I live around everybody. I got bunches of my neighbors are Jewish and blah, blah, blah. I said, how many of your neighbor, and I saw the moderator when I asked that question, the moderator got up and said, ooh, we got to get ready to wrap this up. You know, this Negro was going to come in here and get wild on us now. I said, how many of your neighbors are my skin complexion? One. Last question. Thank you for coming in, blah, blah, blah. But man, it was fascinating. Wow. Reparations and restitution was fascinating. I believe I was the only Negro present for this discussion that was open to the public. So, I mean, anybody could have went, but I mean, white people are not ignorant about racism. Please. Anyway, some of that came up Jonestown because they went to South America and all that. And I just read that. I saw that in the report today about Jim Jones going to Brazil before all that other stuff started. It has been amazing. Even more to come from California. Wildfires, and I'm so glad I'm not in Southern California. They got all those fires, and it's lame. Any hoodles. Neutralizing Workplace Racism on this here weekend because I'm in California and it's research. I have more to do tomorrow and Sunday and just research. Even Monday, I was grousing, so-called holiday. Hopefully you all won't have to work so you can get some extra rest or whatever. But man, a lot of the places are closed, so even have to compensate for that and make sure that I get lots done on Monday in spite of Veterans Day holiday, so-called. Any hoodles, this week with the election, for sure, the code. No politics on the job. No jumping up and down, no gloating, no crime. Man, I was at Berkeley early this morning, I told you. I leave the theology library at Berkeley. Beautiful day, and I know I got my lovely 8-minute walk coming up across the Berkeley campus and get some sunshine in, a little exercise, move my body around a little bit, and then we'll go in and hear them talk about the Nazis. And Brazil, I didn't even know, and the Germans. Man, I come out and I see all these little, like, places to eat, restaurants, all that, cafes, right where the Berkeley campus is, and I see that they have many spots where I could eat, not hot dogs wrapped in bacon and such like they have in LA. So I'm stopping to look, see if I'm going to get me a snack as I proceed. Black female is sitting down. She's talking to another young lady. They're talking about the election, of course. She said, I was watching the results Tuesday night. I'm seeing some of the early results come in. It's looking like Trump is leading. And my anxiety started to just go through the roof. I turned everything off. I went to bed. I got up the next morning and started getting all these notifications that Trump won Pennsylvania and Trump won all these, battleground states, as they say. And I was just fighting the urge not to cry and just, come on now. And I'd even heard that before. Someone else at the library was saying all that. I said, now, see, this is why United Independent, don't talk about politics on the job, because even that I could not tolerate at this point. Like, really, particularly the young lady, black female, who was saying all this, and I say young lady, it wasn't like she was 18. It's not like I'm talking about a Berkeley freshman here. Whatever. Victims Guaranteed Qualified VGQ. But the young lady, she said, I'm trying to be an adult about this and cry. One, adults cry. System of white supremacy. Many of us are in pain. How can you not be in pain if you're a victim? But adults, children, everybody cries. That notwithstanding, the election, I don't know if this is something to cry about or be surprised, shocked, anxious about. I mean, we've seen all this before, and I said that. I had someone telling me directly who said almost the same thing, that they were so stunned and they were so shocked and blah, blah, blah. I said, now, wait a minute. Now, you've seen this before. You can't be that surprised that this happened. As well, it's felon this time. If I was on the job, I wouldn't have even said that, but I'm not going to sit around and listen to that all day either. You all sit around and act like you want to, this is so, and with the assumption that I'm whining and upset about this with you. Nah. I don't discuss politics in the workplace. You're going to have to back up off me with all of that, because I don't want to hear none of that. White person, white chick, non-white person. It was my relatives. Like, come on now. You saw all this before. Anybody with any reasonable sense, you could not have thought that white women, yes, we got Kamala's back. We got you. Really? Anyway, no politics in the workplace. It's nothing to discuss. If white people want to talk, if they want to gloat, all that, I might listen, pay attention. But other than that, like, no. And don't even think, when they had that whole segment about, what are we going to do? And you have to make space and all that. Time and energy. Now, they said they got people at the lithium battery factory. How much time are we supposed to take away from us constructing batteries to talk about Kamala Harris's failures? Is this a 5-minute thing? Is this a 30-minute thing? Do we take half the day to talk about batteries and then the other half of the day we talk about the election? Break it down for me. I was not under the impression that that was a part of my job duties to discuss politics, even during election season. I've never seen that in my job description. If we are paid to make batteries, to install batteries, to clean the toilet, to file the faxes, to practice law, that's your job. Unless your job includes political commentary, I'm just talking timing. And like they say they can't police this, pause. It is almost 2025. You can police whether or not I'm on YouTube, I know that. You can police whether or not I'm on Netflix, I know that. You can police whether or not people use profanity in the workplace, I know that. Why can't you police that? Hey, we are not coming up in here. Those January 6th, they were heroes. They've been hostages. You're not going to tell me nothing about Ashley Babbitt. Hey. Got to allow people their space? No. Calm all that down. We did not. You are not paid to talk about Ashley Babbitt. Show me that in your job description. Where is Ashley Babbitt's name? You don't see it? It's not what we pay you for. Yes, they could control it. We don't need to be up in work talking about none of that. We have enough incivility in the workplace anyway. We talk about that all the time. We don't even need to add in the ire about the election. I'm mad and got to call names and all the rest of it. They cheated. Come on. Even, I say this all the time, even amongst other non-white people, because we all don't agree. Sit around and blame each other. That's what I say about you black people, and you didn't vote. Y'all let us down since Obama said. No politics. They said Google, and some of the folks, that's exactly what they said. We don't have time for all this. They say it take 30 minutes. You get into a kerfuffle with somebody at work, mad. Everything fell off since Obama. Y'all didn't vote. And Leroy, he went out there and voted for Trump. And I know you did. I heard Ice Cube. All that. They said it takes a half hour for you to calm back down. Take some deep breaths. What are we supposed? Oh, we're supposed to get the battery. Now, for that 30 minutes, now how many batteries you done messed up? Wrong part, hit mad, slamming it. Boy, that Craig got on it. I don't want that battery. We got about 30 minutes of defective products where you mad and screwed it on too tight and crossed it over. That's what I'm saying. Like, just time and energy, man. Time and energy. I say, hey, on your free time, so-called. Even then, why are we sitting around here arguing with another non-white person about the election? Minimize conflicts, certainly on the job. I'm trying to get a promotion. Is me sitting up in here talking about Mayor Eric Adams, is that going to help me get a promotion? Me talking about J.D. Vance, I read his book, is that going to help me get a promotion? Am I going to get a raise? Hey, man, close to the end of the year, is my end of year bonus going to be looking extra nice if I tell you, I thought Trump was going to win this one. I ain't never heard that before, like, ever. I have heard people get upset and cursing out and fired and all the rest of it. You're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the job. You know anything that'll help me get a promotion at the lithium battery factory? Let's talk about that all day long. We don't even have time to talk about the election. I'm trying to get this raise. Stick to the code. Minimize conflict. Stick to the code. If they come and ask you, because sometimes white people will be slick. They think, oh, Leroy gonna be crestfallen. Aren't you sad, Leroy? I brought you some coffee. There. I beg pardon? Well, one, thank you, but I don't drink coffee. I much appreciate it. Two, why would I be sad? Oh, the election and everything, I figured you'd be. Why would I be sad? Question lane. Oh, and then they ask anything. I don't discuss politics in the workplace, but I mean, it's a beautiful Wednesday. They come the day after. It's a beautiful Wednesday. I'm going about business. You have a great day, Ted. And just keep on. But I mean, yeah, none of that. Don't you come to celebrate with me. Your dude won. Don't you come to mope with me. None of that. I'm not here to discuss politics. Here to get a raise. At least I'm here not to get fired. You want to get me a little tip jar or something extra and sit it out, and you pay me a few extra nickels to hear my political commentary, maybe I'll think about that. But in the meantime, nah, let's get back to making these batteries. Any hoodles. Let's see. We heard too about the lack of civility and politics in the workplace. That's even amongst white people, so kind of double yikes. And then we heard a litany of reports starting number one. Down in Cobb County, Georgia, the election workers being threatened. They got all these racist emails and such. Kill yourself. We're going to make sure Kamala doesn't win. I remember from 2020 where they had the same type of conduct. Black election workers especially being threatened. We're going to kill you, threatening messages, that sort of thing. You might even be charged. We think you did something criminal to help steal the election for Joe Biden back then and all this other nonsense. I just said, was it last month? I think when Non-Clemson dad, he dialed and said, he and Mama C, they went, do their ballots and all that, vote early because they were afraid there might be some election violence. January 6th. And we can get this out of the way early. I'm not trying to go down there, no line, and people be. And he said they went to do the ballot, and it was a black female working behind the desk, and they said, "Oh no, that's being scared that the race soldiers going to come and tear up the voting booth. That's not a valid reason to do the absentee ballot." And they went ahead and helped them. I said, "Oh my God, I don't want that job." You got to sit behind the counter, and you got white people coming up. They wearing Ashley Babbitt paraphernalia and what have you, and they come to do their ballot. And you got to tell her, "Ma'am, you filled this out incorrectly. I'm going to need you to do, you trying to keep me down, you coon." And they didn't went crazy and did all that. Like, man, come on. You can have it. How much am I going to make? Like, you going to give me Elon Musk money? You going to lease me a Tesla as long as I got this job? I get frequent flyer, any other perks, change my brake pads, something while I got this job. The minimum. Hey, you get me a spa membership. I go get me a 2-hour full body treatment every month or twice a month because I got this stressful job. You can hook me up with those type of perks? I don't even get, a Starbucks $5 gift card once a month? Come on. You keep all of that. Then they're going to be threatening me. Like, kill yourself, coon. What's wrong with it? Keep all of that. And that was, they had the pollsters. They were out when the young fella brought the machete in Florida, came out there mad and trying to intimidate folks. That's the job. That's the job I want. Come on. Even non-Clemson dad said they had a whole lot of black people that were up there doing that work for voting and all that down in South Carolina. Why would that be? White people didn't want that job? Why would that be? We heard privileged, probably toxic, patriarchal, sexist black male, Mr. Dotson in Kansas City, who probably voted for Trump, helped make sure he was keeping Kamala Harris down, says he's trying to join the helicopter unit for the police department. They won't offer him the same training that they do to white people. I'm so surprised. They had the report we played about a year and a half ago. They were talking about the lack of female pilots specifically. I said, really? You got a bunch of Leroys, Darnell, and Devontaes flying planes? No. I remember they talked about some of the same thing. It sure is difficult for the females to get training hours. Apparently, it's difficult for everybody who is not white to get training hours. And it's a lot of those training hours. They said that was a big one right there. Why don't we have more non-white pilots, male and female, even though they left the males out of the report we heard before? The training hours, they said it takes a lot of training hours. Sometimes that can be expensive. Do you have time? Do you have access? They weren't even giving Mr. Dotson access. He's struggling to get hours, and then they write him up for things that they don't write white people up for. That sort of discretion is widespread in the system of white supremacy, and especially on the job, meaning the rules are not applied in an equitable manner. If the rule is you're not supposed to be texting while you're on the job, that would be certainly the type of a rule for a police department. Darnell, we'll write him up. We see him pull out his phone, he's going to text whatever, his weed man or whatever it is. White people, they're on there trying to get their Vicodin or whatever prescriptions, and we don't write them up. Maybe we just give them a little verbal reminder. And we've heard this before from folks. They said at the courthouse they had something almost identical to that. No cellular policy, duh. If non-white person does, we write you up right now, embarrass you in front of everybody. A white person does, we just give a friendly reminder, no cell phones, nothing in your personal record, doesn't mess up you getting a raise or promotion, you're still a great employee. That's sort of widespread, and that's an easy way if you want to get rid of a black person, what they call paper trail. You just write them up for everything. You have that discretion. See, it might be we're supposed to be here at 8 a.m. Discretion. You clock in at 8:03. Maybe you get written up. Maybe you don't. Lots of that sort of thing where if we really want to get rid of you, we can get rid of you. come up with all kinds of great excuses. You're not a team player and all that old vague stuff. Any hoodles. But they said with Mr. Dotson, he got less training. They started to be more punitive and writing him up for all kinds of things. And then they got more hostile. I even thought that was interesting because they used that qualifier, more. It's not like they were at some point courteous, kind, helpful. They were a teaspoon hostile at first. And then they really turned up. Once, I guess whatever. I don't know if it was once he actually made an accusation or whatever the case may be, but they really turned it up on him after a while. Put him back on patrol and all the rest of it. No surprise there. And then they let other white people, we've heard that before too, other white people, they're able to just move on up the ranks, move on through and get promotions, do well, move up the ladder, as they say. To be expected, especially in the police department where there's such a long record. We didn't want you here anyway. Any of you dark people, this is supposed to be our job and our children. Nepotism, see? Cronyism. We got other neighbors, maybe, who want this job, My son-in-law needs a job. Make sure my little grandson is taken care of. We got plans and things. It doesn't include you, nigger. Get on out of here, Dotson. Go get a job cleaning toilets or something. Smoking crack, that type of thing. Any hoodles. Since we are still on location, California, Berkeley, we will not hang out for the full 3 hours. We'll give folks 60 minutes, we'll say, to dial in. We're just via phone. I'm at Cal Berkeley, not back in good old 206. Everything is comfy. So I'm not able to get online for some mysterious reason while at Cal Berkeley specifically. I will not be here tomorrow, so the online component should be back for the compensatory call-in tomorrow evening. But for today, phone line is available, 605-313-5164, the code 564-943 #. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com, untiljustice@gmail.com. You can let us know, did you have incidents this week? Was the election a problem? Did that cause more conflict? Non-white workers, white people that you work with, were you able to get through that? Just stick to the code. No talking about politics on the workplace. Got through it smoothly. Boring, typical week on the plantation. That'd be good to hear as well. Let us know how you navigated all of this. Again, hopefully everybody has Monday off. So at minimum, get that nice, what they call 3-day weekend. Use it constructively. Maybe get some extra rest. Tidy around the house. Clothes washed. All that good stuff. Use it constructively. Maybe even prepare some healthy meals so you can eat well for the week. But man, that day off on Monday needed now to decompress for all this. Not that, we've been running around sad and depressed about the election results, just all of the chaos from the past year of all of this. And then, being told we're supposed to be mad or Jubilee time and all the rest. Let's get back to the business of replacing white supremacy with justice immediately, because that was not a choice on the ballot box. Star 61 if folks have thoughts to share. Again, so we'll do 60 minutes. That way you can let folks know, social media, wherever else, yell out the window. We'll do 60 minutes max. See if folks have thoughts, observations to share, how they got through the week. Other issues with regards to their workplace, especially as we move into the holiday season. I know Veterans Day is not one of the big to-do, and people don't cook and have elaborate recipes and all that. I don't think for Veterans Day, even though that is a federal holiday. I think the banks are closed here in the U.S. Lots of schools, libraries are also closed this coming Monday. As we move into that season for the workplace, you got to have your code there as well. That goes for the potlucks, parties, elephant gifts. If they are going to be asking to get something, I would say try to avoid all of that. Again, if you're in a location where you need to at least show your face, at the so-called Christmas party for 30 minutes or whatever it might be. If that's the case, if this is a place where you intend to work, hopefully for 10 years, if white people allow, go show your face for 30 minutes, sober and codified. Great. I was here, even if they need to take a picture. But if that's not the case, it's not going to be required. You don't see yourself working there for 10 years. I would say avoid all of that. No eating, no potluck. I'm not bringing in muffins. No, I don't want a muffin that you made for the group for Christmas. No eggnog, no nothing. You don't have to tell them you celebrate Christmas. I said you can use, I was raised Jehovah's Witness. That implies that you might not be practicing now, but it sets that a foundation was laid for you not participating in these rituals. That's one I've said before, and I think some people have used that to effect, because like I said, I'm not connected to the holiday now. It doesn't suggest that I'm practicing now, just I did not grow up investing time and energy into these specific days, so I don't have a connection to these events. I'm just saying that one often does not require a lot of additional explaining. Just, I see. And then we can just move on with the day. And no, I don't want to be at the Christmas party or Christmas gift exchanges, anything of that. That also is one that can get really tacky as well. That's why I say, do the best you can. Avoid all of that. Let us see. We'll see callers. I'll get to the switchboard here. And then see our emails as well. *61 for the folks who dialed in. Let's see. So we have aforementioned non-Clemson dad, Double O Dimples, and Mama C. Victim, all with us. I'll nab other hands as I see them, and then we'll get our emails as well. Folks who dialed in, commentary, proceed.
Good evening. I hope you're having a wonderful day and hopefully a wonderful week despite all the things that have happened this week. Just a couple of things. Let's see. Wednesday at the election, I went to work and went to go fill up my water bottle in the kitchen. I saw a white female coworker and said to her, "How are you doing this morning?" And she responded, "I'm practicing radical acceptance." I assume her response was in response to the election results. I responded, "I hope you're able to practice happiness," and I walked away. That gloomy response of hers in particular, I think that was the same gloomy response she had back in 2016 when Trump was first elected. Let's see. The day after the election, people were going crazy on social media about unfriending people if they voted for Trump or they were Trump supporters. This included friends and families that I know as well. After my last conversation with my mother, I knew not to respond to any of these friends and family members who responded this way. Clearly, they needed time and space. And more than that, to me and my wife agreed that this is a horrible proposition to sit here and have arguments, even lose relationships over how people voted in the election. For it was just best not to have conversations nor bring it up. Had a conversation with my mother today, and she worked as a co-worker during election day. She had no problems other than a boss that she didn't really care for, but had no issues with that person in particular because she did her job. But I did have a side conversation with her. My mother was a whole lot easier to talk to about this, but she told me a very interesting story about how, for example, she went to college with a woman who I think was from the Dominican Republic, a person you would call I think a Hispanic. And they have been friends since the 80s. And apparently, after Trump won the election, this friend sent my mother two picture messages. The first one was Trump dancing, celebrating his election day victory. And then the second picture was of Trump having sex or showing Kamala Harris, as in to apply he screwed her out of the presidency. And from that point, my mother said she blocked this particular friend who she has been friends with since the 80s, since they met in college. And my mother had to reflect on the relationship because they've been friends since the 80s. At one point, this friend, I think the friend's mother babysat me and my sisters at one point. Not that we remember because we were young children. But apparently, at one point, there was another friend, a third friend, who used to talk real ill about my mother's dark skin. And the friend defended my mother for whatever reason. Come to find out, when my mom saw pictures of her getting married and saw a picture of her father, the father was dark skinned, like my mother or like me. So that's probably the reason why, at least for the last, I would say, almost 40 years, they were able to maintain a friendship, because at the very least, there was a level of respect there and understanding. But unfortunately, if you ever heard that phrase, Trump derangement syndrome, unfortunately, this election did bring out the worst in people, more so than in previous years. And as a result, it is hurting and destroying relationships. And me personally, at least me and my wife agreed that, even with some of the people who are our friends and families that we disagree with, we think our relationship is far more important to us than what they think on how they vote, even when they do things we do not like. At least that's one of the major lessons that we're getting out of this whole situation, so much so that we're making sure not to do things like bring up unnecessary conversations, and most importantly, not posting unnecessary things on Facebook that could be taken a certain way, especially if people don't agree with it. And then the last thing, it turns out the woman who likened me to the office contagion is an office crap starter. Particularly, I was having a conversation with the county administrator, who was the engineer who signed off on my engineering license. And we were catching up because we were working on a local sales referendum that unfortunately failed in our county. You win some, you lose some. And we were catching up, just, talking about how the whole situation went. And then that person came up again, who's constantly caused me problems through these years as I've worked at the county. And apparently the woman who took over for her in my department, I've known she's had a couple of problems with her, but apparently through the years, multiple people have had to simply defend me against this woman I didn't even know, which goes to show that she was constantly starting things about me with other people, and even other people were quite frustrated with her as well too. But this is not to say that I'm the only one that she messed with. Clearly, she was messing with quite a couple of people. And this includes the woman that replaced her in my department only within the last 2 years. They used to have cubicles that were right next to each other, and the county administrator said to me that it had gotten so bad that the woman in my department, a white woman, this was a white woman replacing a white woman, was about to go off on her, and the problematic woman had to be moved to a completely different spot on the floor just to keep them things from getting worse. So I must say another feeling of vindicated that this woman is as trifling as I thought thinks she is. And with that, I'll mute my line.
Much obliged, non-Clemson dad. I don't know, the crass imaging on really any platforms. They email it or text it or social media to you. Man, that's kind of wild. Even, I'm trying to think, if Obama had won, I'd feel some type of way if somebody had sent me an image and had Obama like doing something sexual. Like, whoa. Wait a minute. What is it? NSW or FW? NSFW. There we like, whoa. Like, what? Even if it's, you assume that even that, like, back up, man. But whatever. Even if you assume, I agree with this. Like, what? Come on. Much less just out of the blue. Like, we haven't talked about this. Like, you haven't heard me say just wow, that is really crass imagery to share with another colleague. I just would not. I wouldn't share anything political. I would only be sharing things related to work. This person, we would have to have a rapport where we have talked about this issue before. I say all the time, you can't assume just because it's another black person they have the same views that you do. Much less, I'm sitting here and even I said I just don't think that's not what we're paid to do. You know, we're supposed to be talking about the job now. Apparently, they worked together for some years and all that. Great. I suspect they hadn't talked about politics before. I'm just gonna guess. I don't know why she would have sent that, but man, people get so emotionally.
Gus, you're correct. My mother said they never had that conversation about politics in the decades that they've been friends. They don't have this conversation. What my mother said.
Decades, he said, not a couple months, a year. Decades. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's and that's fine. It's nothing incorrect about that at all. If you and another non-white person work on a job work together for decades and you never have a conversation about politics or, who's running for office or anything, that is totally fine. In fact, that's what Gus T recommends. We got other serious things to tend to, and I might even be checking on you. You doing all right? Okay, great. Whoopee. Why on earth even if I'm elated, I think Trump is the best thing ever for, whatever reason, fine. We ain't never talked about that. Same way if any other candidate, President Obama, let's say Al Sharpton ran and won, whatever. Why am I going to assume you also, much less to get out, even if it had been just something benign, like, whoopee, Trump won. Even that. Why would I assume that you also, whoopee, yes, I'm with you. So we ain't talked about that at all? Come on. Much less, I'm not sending whoopee, I'm sending Trump doing some sexual violation. Like, come on. That, people get fired for that sort of, like, real talk. It's almost 2030. You send that to another colleague, especially be a black person, sending that sort of image to somebody classified as white. Don't mess around and be Leroy. Imagine non-Clemson dad sending something like that to the white woman who called him the office contagion, or the white woman who came around, thought he was nude and preparing to do a O.J. Simpson rape in the office when he was doing yoga, and came and said, "What is he?" And she ran. Imagine him sending something like that to her. Come on, man. That's it. Even if it's other black people, that is so. Even I say all the time. Now, I don't know if this was personal email or whatever, but if it's somebody else at work, how do you know? The IT people might see this. Whoa, you are not supposed to be sending, to other colleagues. What are you doing? Might get both of you all in trouble. Come on, man. None of that. That is just not appropriate at all. And some of this, that's what happens with the election. It gets people all in there. I told you that young lady was sitting out there. I was about to cry. What? None of that is appropriate. You were about to cry. You out here celebrating, sending crazy emails that could cause conflict. He said his mom unfriended her. Now think, we've been cool all this time, all these decades, and I can't even say I blame her because that is so crass. Like, why? On a plantation where white people rape. What are we reading right now? Andre Bloom. What'd she say? Her mother was 13, dad was 40 and white. Why would I ever have some sort of celebration or glee where I'm, white man, you sexed her down. What? Where is your black self-respect? It doesn't have anything to do with what you think about Kamala Harris and all that. It's just, what? Why am I going to be associated with an image like this? The wickedness of white supremacy, black self-respect annihilated. See, and that's a big part of the election too, because they do all that. Call it mudslinging. See, that's in the word guide. Call it mudslinging. See, get you all emotionally riled up and do some name calling and all that, and put some image out like that. That's something from Django. Ugh, repulsive. Anyway, get your black self-respect back together. I do think it is best, I said, minimize conflict. Try best to avoid that sort of thing where we're not having to sacrifice whole connections to other victims of racism who may ultimately help us solve this problem, or at least do something constructive, help us get the leaves out of the gutter. Wintertime coming, they just had problems with the electrical grid and what have you. Might be somebody let you come and flush their toilet once or twice. Have toilet paper. Charge your phone. Something helpful might be good. One person get a flat tire, they have a jack. Hey, lots of reasons to maintain constructive contact with other non-white people, victims of racism. Hopefully not, as I say, to hop into conflict. That's why I said it's not even it's certainly not a reason to be talking about this with other people on the job. Not really a reason to be talking about it with, people in your free time, as I said. If it's going to be conflict, now, if we're trying to learn something, and what did you think about issue 6? Okay. Totally different. But if it's just, Coon, what is wrong with you? And that's what I say about you. Or showing those type of images, we can just avoid all that. Okay. Minimize conflict. Minimize contact. We'll check, as he said, we'll give them a little space, and we'll check back in later constructively about something other than the election. Brilliant. I don't know, tacky, trifling white woman who called him the contagion. I don't even know what to say about that. He said, he found out that other people had to defend his character against her on a regular basis. Like, dang. I don't know. That. Truth be told, though, that is a whole lot of us in the system of white supremacy, racism on the job, and just in life, where you have people who that Leroy is about as worthless, shameful. Matter of fact, now you put that together with office contagion, and then the IT people sit around. I knew old non-Clemson dad. He didn't even go to Clemson. You see, old trifling coon. I'm not even gonna update his computer. How about, matter of fact, it's been decades since we updated his computer. Shh, hey, how you doing there? Right? You're looking great. And she going around bad mouthing that old contagion. I got the sniffles, and it's because he was going around here wiping his nose and touching everything. And I'm like, what in the world? What in the world? Come on, man. That's all of us really. I would love to think and say, oh man, that's kind of an anomaly. And that old non-Clemson grad is kind of shiftless. And he's the valedictorian. He is the valedictorian. I can't even say, shiftless and lame and just can't get his act together. No. Contagion. I just sit around and talk bad about him all day long. We don't even update his computer for decades. That's your privileged black male. Real talk, that's probably you on your job, if you know it or not. All of it, probably. They don't update your computer either. They sit around and talk bad about you. The same people. Why don't you come be in the potluck? Oh, man, I made these muffins. Let's come to dinner. Are you coming to the Christmas party? The same people. Soon as you... That shiftless Negro. Oh, man, the worst thing we got. And that is COVID-57. That's the nickname I gave because he is the virus who... You coming to the Christmas? You sure? You come to... Okay, it wouldn't be a party without you. doesn't get any better than tacky. All that has consequences too, man. It could just be neutral. I'm not saying they have to go and did you know he was valedictorian and why we didn't even update his computer and he just cranked it all the way and why he is no. Neutral. You don't have to say nothing. Why not that? No, you just gotta sit around and talk. That, like I said, that's promotions. That is so many things that has an impact. Just that's in people's brain computer now when they see. Like, man, system of what? And even now, what is all this based on? Did he take her parking space one day? Did he key her car? He try and date her daughter? Like, what is all this based on? Her being classified as a white woman? That's probably all of us too. Got some white person practicing racism. You didn't even do anything. This is not even provoked. I just don't have nothing else to do. I'll mess with Leroy for next 3 years. As long as he works here, really. Man. Oof. Much obliged, non-Clemson dad. They'll say, things would be different if you were a tiger. That's the Clemson mascot. I don't think so. But, whatever. Let's see. Victim should be with us as well.
Greetings, Gus. Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Greetings to the cows, listeners, and callers. I'm hoping everyone's being as safe as possible. I wanted to add to what he was saying about being harassed on your job. I've recently started a new location, and my first day at this new location, a white woman placed some kind of, envelope on my desk. And the envelope just said, "Welcome to the office," with hearts all around it. I would consider that harassment. Also, with this new location that I'm working at, I'm seeing the stark difference between how workers in my previous office were treated compared to now. And the big difference is that my previous office had a lot of black people that worked there. This office has more white and non-white, non-black workers. I noticed that because my previous office wouldn't allow workers to telework, to work remotely from home. And this office is allowing it. These are similar offices with a similar work capacity and volume, and they also have the same issue when it comes to shortage in staffing. So those are some of the excuses that were given to my previous office in regards to why they were not allowed to telework. But this office, there is no pushback on that, considering that this has the same amount of short staffing. Also with this office, I'll be dealing more with revenue, and from how we're being instructed, there is a lot of federal, state, and county funding for foster parents and for foster children. And I'm hearing that there are different tiers. So people who qualify with some kind of disability or something to that effect can get even more funds. That's what I'm learning now. I've also been observing during the election at different voting centers how people are being harassed. I saw one video where it was a white man who refused to remove his hat. That was in support of Trump. And there were several non-white black females who were in the office there, trying to get him to comply with the mandate, because by law, you're not allowed to have any type of political paraphernalia on while you're in the vote center. I personally had to, at one time I did work in a vote center, I had to tell at least 2 white individuals to remove, shirts or turn shirts inside out so that they can vote at the office. I did not get any pushback from these individuals. They kind of just looked and kind of smiled, and like, I guess they knew that they were doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, and they just want to see how much they can get away with. As far as dealing with other victims of white supremacy, non-white black people when it comes to the election, I've spoken to a couple, and they are kind of upset at the results of the election. I tried to inform them that, you know, ultimately this is all up to white people. That's my opinion about it. Who wins or who doesn't win, considering the numbers of white female voters who still and even more so voted for Trump this time around. So I tried to inform them of just that alone. So hopefully that brought them some kind of solace. Besides that, that's all I have for now, but thanks for taking my call, Gus.
Much obliged, victim. Is that cubed? Or victim times 3. Now, see, we've heard that before as well. Not from non-Clemson Dad today, but in terms of, he said he started out, he was working, it was more non-white people, and then he switched and he went to an environment that had more white people. And he said they had the telework policy, and he said it's, you know, same company, same constraints, I guess same difficulties in staffing and such. I guess not moving to the different side of the world, kind of some of the same logistical issues. And he said that they had their telework policy, and it's supposed to, when the facility that had more of the non-white people, whoa, can't have all that and blah blah blah, got to be in here and blah blah blah. He goes to a facility where it's more white people, fewer black people. Whoa. Now you can telework, or at minimum, they don't have as much pushback about people doing this and whoa, you got to be in it, blah, blah, blah. We've heard that before. Even in the middle of COVID, we heard this. Matter of fact, sometimes even in the same facility, we didn't even got to talk about, you know, facility A in Trenton and then facility B in Newark with a different policy. No. Within the same facility, the white employees, hey, if you need to work from home 2-3 days a week, don't even worry about it. Black employees, you better have your hind parts here Monday through Friday if you want a job. That sort of thing. Heard that consistently. Even that's, again, it's supposed to be equal protection under the law. The rule is supposed to be enforced in the same manner. Why would it be so drastically different? And especially if it is the same policy, like they don't have, you know, totally different manual, totally different rules, that means it's simply what I said before, discretion about how this policy is going to be enforced. I've also heard that, and that when I say heard that, meaning white people, you don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me to get a vaccine. You don't tell me to wear a mask. You don't tell me to be at my desk at this office. I telework if I want to. And that sort of attitude, lots of from people classified as white. And then other white people just, you don't want to get a vaccine? You still going to telework? They don't let Leroy do that. Apparently, they don't even let too many Leroys work at the facility where all this is going down. And again, now, how would that happen magically? All the renegade white people are piled up over here, and then when you get all the black people, no. You're going to be sticklers about the policy and, you know, no telework, got to be here. They say ignorant about racism. Anyway, excellent. No conflict with attempted family, other people, non-white people that you care about, allegedly, close to, have contact with. No grousing. White people are in charge, responsible for all of this. And we keep trying to solve the problem. That's it. No grousing, no arguing, no name calling any attempted family members. They need a little time and space to get over all of this. I don't know if I would do too much, participating in a non-white person wallowing about all of this, because I mean, Jonestown is something to at least acknowledge. I don't know if we need to wallow, but I mean, 1,000 people died, 300 children. That's, wow, let's take a moment for that. The election? And an election of a candidate who's been president before. Just saying. Just saying. The number 605-313-5164. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. We'll be here 30 minutes, so do not wait till the last moment. If you have commentary, questions, Gus T on location. Wowee, it has been a business trip. That's one thing I would say. If you're on a work trip, make it a work trip. Now, what do I mean by that? Meaning, if I had been in the mind frame that this is a vacation, I'm going to California and this is going to be total vacation, we're going to the strip club and woo, all that, man, I would not have had fun. I wasn't even in that frame of mind. Business. That's how I went to USC right from the airport. This is just about business and accomplishing things. Even the seminar today, Nazi art theft. Just being on business and trying to accomplish as much as possible. Because I said I could research for about 100 minutes, maybe 105 minutes this morning. Then I can leave. I told you it's a 10-minute walk from the theology library to the other part of the Berkeley campus for the Nazi art discussion. And then it's a 10-minute walk to the regular Berkeley library to get the other material. And that's exactly what I did. Very easy, very well planned. But if it's business, be about business. Plan. I think Z's mommy, she talked about that before, where things are planned in advance. Use your schedule. Try not to be surprised about things. So you have already looked at the transportation. You've already looked at the weather. You've already looked, where am I going? The logistics of all of that. Where's this? Where's that? How long does it take to get there? Just as much that you can eliminate, that you do not have to think about. You've already looked at that. You don't have to be breaking out your phone. What is this? How do you get, what did I do? All of that is done. The registration, the tickets, all of that is done. Ideally, before you even get on the plane, train, car, that all of that stuff is done when your luggage is packed, so that when it's time for the business trip, we're just going down the schedule. Boom, 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 boom. Where are you supposed to be at? This date, this time. We're just following the schedule. That's how I ended up at that appointment today. Just following the schedule. Oh, yes. Reminder, supposed to be there at 10. Stop research. Already be there. Stop research. Walk, car, boom, boom. Very easy. Very easy. If it's about business, be about business. Plan, research, schedule, and then just, stick to that. You can have fun in between. I certainly have done that. Gone to the beach twice already. Hopefully it'll be 3 times at least before we get back to Seattle, where they have a plethora of beaches, but just saying. Any hoodles. But plan, research as much as you can so that you can cut down. It's always a little bit unsettling to be in an unfamiliar environment, especially if you have to be there for a long period of time. One of the best things, at least I found, that you can do to minimize that, where you can know more. I mean, it's only a limit, it's nothing like actually being there and experiencing all of that, but try to minimize that as much as you possibly can in advance. Any hoodles, cannot wait to get back to Seattle. California has been, this part, not LA, the non-LA part of California has been great. Woo! Now, let's see. Let me check the emails. Let's see. Until justice at gmail.com. Until justice at gmail.com. Let's see. Email number 1. Hi, Gus and Cal's audience. Gus, the laptop was not made in the 1970s. According to the Microsoft website, the Surface Pro that I have weighs 3.5 pounds, but it feels a lot heavier to me. I stopped carrying the charger around as I can connect it at work. Otherwise, my bag would be even heavier. That may not sound very heavy to other people, and I would have ignored the heaviness myself before my back problems. And I would have ignored the heaviness myself. I've also experienced hip and nerve issue all the way down my left leg, so carrying a heavy weight on one side is a problem. A rucksack won't be any better because of the weight, that's true, which also causes your body to autocorrect to adjust the weight. Lifting a carrier on wheels on and off trains or up and down stairs on my journey is not a solution for me, and still no word from HR or occupational health on the second laptop that I've requested. As I previously reported, I hurt my ankle at the end of July, so I was working from home until my ankle healed up. Up until that point, I had been going into the office for the required 2 days a week. Now that's even similar to what we talked about before with the telework. Now, if this is a white person and they have a legitimate injury, no gold bricking, seriously hurt, I suspect it might have been like what he said before with the harassment. My black brother, when he died, and he said they put the hearts on the desk, and he said, I consider this harassment. I think they would have hooked her up a fruit basket if she was white and had messed her ankle up or whatever. They would have hooked her up with a fruit basket, a Starbucks gift card, whatever else. Don't even, fret about coming in for those 2 days. Prop that ankle up. You stay at home. You can, get us on the Zoom or whatever it is and wait until you're right as rain and then you come on back in. That's what I think it would have, at least that would have been extended if she was classified as white. Even, I'm very aware, even with a non-white boss, because she does have a black supervisor. Oh yeah, even with a black non-white supervisor, yes, I think the white person that would have been offered if they were serious, had, whatever, chicken pox, flu, whatever. Continuing. I went to the office when I first injured my ankle, despite the swelling and pain, because I knew I would not be believed. In September, HR suggested I request an extension to the interim arrangement I had in place, exempting me from going into the office until my ankle healed. Senior management have apparently been checking attendance, and lots of people are not complying with policy. Have we heard the echo, 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 echo? They teleworking too. They're teleworking. That's what I said. Now, are you telling me that these white people are that renegade, uppity? Hey, I know what the policy is. I'm literate. I can read. I'm not going. Now, how about do something? Make me. Are you telling me they for reals? They can't fire someone? Get somebody else? Are you serious? The labor pool is that small, or these people are that they just can't be replaced? Nat King Cole, they unreplaceable? Are you serious? Are you serious? Nah, no. That is why she said they check attendance for you. Your hind parts better be there. And like I said, she has a black boss. We've been hearing about this for a year. She has a black boss. She didn't even have a non-white boss. She has a black boss. You had better be present. Just like the whole facility of black people for victim, victim, victim. The non-white people, you better be present. You better not even spell telework. White people, yeah. That's the white lady, she said, ran off with the petty cash. She stole all the money at work and went to the nudie club and all that, bought liquor and fentanyl and everything else. That's her. Maybe I show up. Maybe I don't. I show y'all got petty cash refilled. I show up. Y'all, you got the petty cash back? What does it mean? It's Donald Trump, man. Come on. Rules don't even talk about, man. Get it together. Let's see. They don't apply with the policy. The arrangement I had ended on October 31. Ooh, I got an email from Shauna, black female, that day telling me she had been pressed to find out when I would return. What I said, you better have your hind parts here. She claimed she sent me an email requesting that I let her know when I would return to the office and that she has no idea what my intentions are, that she cannot extend the arrangement unless she gets a letter from my doctor or occupational health. She also asked that I be more proactive in following up with HR and occupational health to get the equipment due to my back problems, as I should know they can take a while. That was my first email for the day, and you can imagine how that made me feel. Boy, she was ready to call you a coon. I could, because she had that in quotes. She blamed the chair, back problems too, really, but you don't have a chair because you're so shiftless and lazy. You're too ignorant to even go and talk to the HR people. And furthermore, you're lying and gold bricking, and you better have your black behind in this office. And I'm not extending anything to you, and you had better. Good God. I would have felt so tiny, not to mention, I don't think all these years she's been writing us. Now, she could be pulling one over on us, right? Lying. She's out square dancing every day, maybe, I guess. She's out. Remember the kid in Play? You do the dancing, hopping on the one. She's doing all that. No ankle problem, no back problem. She's going out doing powerlifting, squatting 300 pounds, kilogram. Maybe. I don't know. But dang, they just assume you are lying and gold brick. I don't even believe that you got this ankle pride. You bring a doctor's note. If you ain't got no doctor, get your hind parts in the office today. And furthermore, you don't even let us know what is going on, you shiftless, lazy. That's what I mean, though. And I'm glad she quoted it, because that's exactly what I mean. There is no way she would have talked to somebody classified as white. Can I say it again? Can I echo? This is a black person talking to another black person. Yes, it is. There is no way Shauna, this black female, would have written something like this to a white subordinate, a white female subordinate, a white male subordinate, a white lesbian subordinate, a white transgender subordinate, a white disabled subordinate. You can run the list. There is no way in the world. That's the system of white supremacy too. And that's why I said we're not brothers and sisters in the workplace at all. But I mean, that's what, I'm just trying. And I'm not even, it's not like she said, I got COVID-25. It's not like she made up some exotic disease and you ought to fund my medical bill and other. I hurt my ankle. Like, dang. Okay, hurt ankle. Man. Dang. Okay. I'm assuming the pressure is coming from Harry, racist suspect. However, take note of the narrative of me Shauna is portraying. My response went as follows. 1. I reminded her what her email actually said, that I should put a meeting in a week before the end of the arrangement if I wanted to extend it. 2, that the end of the arrangement was that day. 3, that I did not request an extension. 4, oh my God, she sent that. Like, I was thinking that maybe she had asked for an extension of that. She got hostile and nasty. Oh my God. That is so. Woo, I'm glad she included that, because I really was thinking like maybe she did, ask for an extension, which would have been totally reasonable, right? If you have an ankle injury or any sort of reasonable injury, or if you just needed a mental health day, that's reasonable. Can I get a couple extra days just to get myself together, whatever? What is the problem? She didn't even do that. She got all hostile, like preemptively hostile. Don't be thinking about coming here and asking for no extension, lazy. Like, woo, wow. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean, though. She would not have done this to a white subordinate. Wow, she continues. 4, the reason I wasn't coming into the office was because I injured my ankle, wink, wink, which, as she observed, was swollen and I was having difficulty walking. 5, that HR recommended I work from home until it healed. I do remember that. She said about the pump. 6, before I injured my ankle, I was going into the office while waiting for HR and OH to provide the equipment to address my back problems. 7, that I had been chasing OH, the company that carried out the assessment, and HR about the equipment since April, and most recently on the 25th of October. That she has been copied in on every email, and I've also discussed the matter with her in my one-on-ones. 9, that I will continue to chase and request that she also step in as I'm not having much luck with the chair and equipment. Her response was, okay, does that mean you will be in the office next week? I replied, yes, I will be in the office next week. A few months ago, I reported that I had booked a desk. This was before I was given a fixed desk, and that someone else was seated there. When I let him know that I had booked it, I was accused of turfing him off the desk by a racist suspect female who I shall call Phoebe. Wednesday was my first day back in the office. I have a fixed desk, which means I do not have to hot desk due to my back problems. The desk allocated to me is not on the booking system, so no one else can book it, but other people can sit at the desk on the days I'm not in the office. When I arrived, there was a racist suspect male at the desk. I let him know that I booked the desk. I didn't want to explain that I have a back problem because it's no one else's business, a man. He was getting up to move when Phoebe interfered. You can't just tell him to move. I didn't tell him to move. He then sits back down and Phoebe says to me, have you booked it? She responds, it's a fixed desk. It's not on the booking system. Phoebe, so you haven't booked it? Me, no, because it's allocated to me. Phoebe responds, oh, we didn't know that. Racist suspect male moves. Half an hour later, a non-white black female who I'll call Keisha, who I thought had a good working relationship, stood up and told Phoebe Tristan, her manager who was working from home that day, was fuming because she messaged him to let him know that the desk had been allocated to me. Apparently he's been using it, which is fine, but now he can't on the days I'm in the office, which is the same arrangement for every other desk in the building. I looked up at Keisha, but she didn't acknowledge me, just talked about me to Phoebe as if I wasn't there. Oh, man. Do we have to go to work Monday? It's a desk. Like, seriously, is it that, like, they have desks? Whew, man. Woo. Just all of it. That's another one. Like, I cannot imagine if it had been the other way around. She had been sitting in the desk, black female, just sitting there working. White person comes up, said, "Oh man, this is I have this booked for the episode." "Oh, my bad, I'm gonna get up." Whoa. Black sister, sit on back there. You don't come over and tell her. Who do you think you are? You find another. You don't come over here and matter. What? Are you serious? And she said he was going to move. He had got up to move out of the way, like, "Oh, right on, black sister. I got to go ahead and have a great day." Harambe. He was going to move, and she said, "Well, no. You sit back down." Hateful Negro coming in here, ordering people around. Just sit. We didn't know that. Now we do. And then, different black female won't even acknowledge you. Her come in here and take the desk from us all. Well, wait. I thought we were. Wait a minute. Let me get my sound effect. Wait a minute. Woo! I'm wounded. When you go in the workplace, other individuals classified as black. We heard non-Clemson dad said his mom had to unfriend another black. Now, he did say that was a pretend black person, so I don't know if that. Some people that might not count. She said she was Dominican Republic, so, you know. But either way, he had to unfriend a non-white person, victim of racism. Crass behavior. Unjust behavior, really. I mean, I don't even want to remember. Anyway, you cannot be thinking, just because this person has a whole lot of melanin, we're going to be homies. You cannot think that way at all. United, independent. You have no idea what their views are. None of that. You can't even be thinking that, oh, they think I'm cool or whatever. They might be waiting to send you Donald Trump, sexually assaulting a black female. Like, what? Jesus. United, independent. And you certainly cannot be thinking, this is my black brother. This is my black sister. They got my back, man. We going here. No. Anti-black. That's what you should be thinking. There's going to be some anti-blackness here. I'm just keep it courteous, keep it professional, minimize conflict. That's what I'm going to be thinking. I'm not thinking these are my black homies. I'm not thinking they got my back, because they probably don't. If they do, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But not even acknowledge my presence, much less all this again. My back hurts. What is it? I thought you said it was your ankle. Neck, back, ankle, which is it? Smokey, you just making up things? You watch Friday while you're at home? Wow. I don't even, anyway. I lost the anti-blackness. I lost my place. Let me see. Anti-blackness. Wouldn't even acknowledge me. I'd sent her a message a few days before asking for a copy of a document which she ignored. I thought it was because she was busy, but it seems that's not the case. I think she's been hanging out with Shauna, so it's not really a surprise. So this might be, again, now instead of white people, you have black people. That black heifer, she lays in and talking about my back. I ain't seen doctor's note the first. She's going around here making. Then she came in the other day and said her ankle was hurting. Are you? And please, God, don't tell me that a part of the gossip, because I think that's what that would qualify as, anti-black gossip. Please, white Jesus, don't tell me that a part of this anti-blackness is them gossiping that You made a white man get up from the chair. You deprived a white man of resting his hind parts. Man, that is a deflating way to end the Friday. You could have kept all this to yourself. Man. Woo, let's see. I didn't even finish the email. Let's see. A non-white, non-black male who reports to Phoebe then said, I note you've picked the best desk. Make sure you've made sure you have a panoramic view. It's next to the window. I politely smiled and carried on with my work. Even that, like normally I would just be like, all right, all right. In this environment, like, dang, have you been talking bad about me too? Wait a minute, gang. Like, wait a minute. I'm sure there's a white person, probably a whole lot of white people here who have a way better seating arrangement than this. I'm willing to bet money. There's probably a white person who got a whole office, at least one, maybe two or three, who got a whole office with a really nice chair. Do you all go and harangue and we can't? You gonna use the whole office? I can't come in here one day. How you gonna get the special chair too? You gonna get your name on the? That's what I said. Really? It's probably some white people who got way better view. Jesus, man. That's about the best. Like, real talk, codified stuff. Oh, uppity nigga woman. See, you got this old fancy desk. Get your old nice view like you just the Queen Empress Nefertiti herself, huh? Man. Suck all of the black and pride right out of your sails. Man, I don't even, that's what you can expect though. I would love to tell you that like that's an anomaly and that's something strange. Nope, that's what you can expect. Don't let them find out that you make like 2 cents more than they do. Ooh. Embarrassed. Worthy of great pity. Like, seriously, that's about the size of like having some black slaves on the ships. Look at this old coon. Gonna get the window seat. Look here. Thinking you something special. Sitting all by the Kool-Aid. And that's what I say about these old nigger women. Rest us back. Are you serious? Are you serious? I didn't even pick this chair. They allocated it to me, and I had to beg to get it. Not that they need to know all that, but like, are you serious? Worthy of extraordinary pity, because that's real talk. That's what that is. Old slave got the window seat on the ship, coon. Worthy of great pity. Let's see. Mary oh, wait a minute. Not across the bay. I'm in Berkeley. Same side of the bay. 510, stand up. Bay Area mom should be with us.
Can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Greetings to you and everyone on the call. What was I going to say? Okay, so, you know, I work all these hours. I can't think a lot. So, work week, we only have 4 days for days of children. The Monday was a professional development, so this is our second Monday with no kids, but we had to professional develop. So no big deal no big deal for me because I'm on my clock. But So during professional development, we're supposed to, come together. We take little trainings. We had met with the behavioralist for a couple of hours. So I talk about the children, but I talk about the adults, the one adult girl that my energy, and the young man with the loud voice, that is her friend, except for maybe now they're iffy friends. So during our professional development, sometimes it's okay not to talk. So I'm told it was ready for the behavior part because I love behavior. So I'm probably the only one excited. So we got bits and stuff to, go over. I went over a child's behavior intervention plan that wasn't mine because I just want to see this child's behavior intervention plan. The girl, she didn't want to be in our group. She wanted to be, even though we should have been grouped together because we all work with the same child, she didn't want to be, I think it was because of me. So she didn't want to be close to me, so she stayed on the outskirts. But you still have to come to the group because we're a group. So the lady said something, and she's like, yeah, because we're going to be working on, did you say twerking? We're going to be twerking? And so everyone's looking because even if why would she say twerking? And this is a black behavioralist. Why would you ask, did she say something that foolish? Because we don't have a lot of respect for black people, so we just say anything. She wouldn't say that. This is silly. So she turned it off. Just turned it like, oh no, we're not doing that. We're just working. I thought you said twerking. So now after that, we go into another meeting on Zoom for around 2 hours. The lady, I think this lady's from Egypt. Well, I know this lady's from Egypt. She's a behavioralist as well. I think she might be regional versus just being in the school with us. This lady said she was talking about a sheet, a sheet that you put your thoughts on. And it was just, and this is where, we're not just in these groups on these Zoom meetings. You have to participate. So you write your thoughts on each thing that we do. How would you do if, it was your kid? And then you send it to the behavioralist, and that's your exit ticket. So this man said, oh, you said, so we can do one of thoughts? Some stuff on thoughts? We doing thoughts? And so just couldn't leave it alone. I said THOUGHT, thoughts. So he's going to listen to me. Yeah, you zip it up. So no problem. So now he wants to do it again. Now, mind you, it's not just us on the Zoom. It's everyone that works in the schools. We have a lot of schools in a lot of places, even outside of the state. So we're all together on the Zoom. So he had to reiterate. So did you say we were going to do some thoughts? We were going to do thoughts? Oh, what do I say? You were going to do some thoughts. Thoughts. Then you hear, because we are all in different breakout rooms, so the people that had the joy of being in the breakout room with those two also had to listen to them arguing with each other on a Zoom. And they said how embarrassing it was. So we've got all that going on. A lot of the adults are kind of disengaged as far as working with the children. It just seems as if they're going through the motions, and it's fine. So now we come back. We're in session. With the 3-day weekends, week-long breaks, 2-week-long breaks, it's hard for the children, especially the children that have a lot of power in their homes. 2 of the children that I work with have a lot of power in their home. The one that I spend the most time with totally controls the technology. I remember speaking about his brother, the 11-year-old brother, who will be 12 sometime this month, who can't use his cell phone unless he's at school, and he's not using it at school. I just mean he can't use it because once he gets home, it belongs to the 7-year-old. I was the little boy, so when I pick him up out of the car, because I go out and pick him up, and I've been picking him up 15 minutes early as a courtesy for his mother because she's doing some kind of training in San Jose. So I pick him up 15 minutes early this week, or I get him out of the car this week early so she can do whatever she has to do, and he's just with me for an extra 15 minutes, and so when he's in the car, he has cell phone access. When I come to the car, it's removed. So he's, fighting his mom. He'll fight anybody for the technology. So, I have to kind of redirect him and, come on, let's do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. So, but he's angry. I'm so angry. So of course, it lasts throughout the day. So if he doesn't get his iPad at school and can't lay on it all for the remaining of the time, he's going to tear the school up, fight, bite you, kick you, scratch you. So on Wednesday, he was suspended because on Tuesday, he just went insane with his behavior because he wanted more time on the iPad. They wanted him to, this is all happens when I'm not there either. If I have a 1 hour break away from him, my lunch is included and another child is in the midst of that 1 hour. So he didn't want 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes on the iPad. He wanted 55 minutes because the girl that I said was saying something about twerking, the one with my energy, she allows him on her time to have sometimes when I come back, the timer is on 55 minutes. Why did you give him 55 minutes on the iPad? So he'll be, I want 55 minutes. Why would you want 50? Oh, because the timer is, okay. So that's what she does. So he spazzed so out. He bit me so many, or he attempted, because I have CPI, I'm not just allowing him to bite me. Now, he did catch me and slap me, but I was trying to keep him from assaulting the person doing ABA in school. The behavioralist and the BT or RBT, whatever it is, the behavior technician. So, and the BCBA that I work under and with this child. So he had a tantrum for maybe 20 minutes, and then he had to calm him down, but then it started back up because this white lady that does his speech, she agitates him. She doesn't understand it, or maybe she does understand it, she still does it anyway, so she kind of sets him off too. So that didn't help me. So he ended up getting suspended, so he came back on yesterday. It was hard. It was hard, but no iPad. I hid that iPad. I don't know where it is. I do know where it is, but it's not available for him right now. I allowed him to have a free day today as far as not a lot of demands. I take him every day to feed the birds, but it's, first this, then this. It's kind of like that. Someone came and brought him McDonald's. One of his cousins came up to the school and brought him McDonald's, him and his twin brother McDonald's today. So what do? You just get to McDonald's, you go upstairs and here eat the McDonald's. So in the midst of the McDonald's, another adult, the gentleman with the deep voice, that's a little abrasive with his student, was abrasive with his student today. And I closed the door because I don't want to hear it. So I closed the door inside of the room. But apparently there was another adult in there with her student. And I heard the little boy say, "Let me go, don't grab me." And I heard him screaming and crying. I do hear the gentleman justify, "Oh, no, you pulling your face, you doing this. This is why I had to get up and move your hand." And I do hear that, but I didn't know if there was another person in there. So when the gentleman someone's coming up there talking to him about juice because he's close to the kitchen area where the cafeteria is. He just helps himself with his after school program class and just gives them all the supplies that are in the cabinets, and he's not supposed to do that, and they put the signs up because of him. So one of the kids said, no, we get this from him. He gave us all of that. So one of the operations managers said something to him, and then he said something to the after-school program director who was upstairs with me at the time. And so it turned into he did not understand why he couldn't do his own thing. He just didn't register. So he's asking, well, how long you been working here? How long you been working here? I thought I just started this school year. And then he just kept elaborating about the juice. I said, so what you can do is just only use what they give you. If there's no juice in the for the after school snacks, then they have to drink water. And then that's it. I said, just don't touch their supply. Just don't touch it. Just only touch what's given to you, and you'll eliminate all that. That's all you have to do. Regardless of their budget, regardless of whatever you think, just don't do that. And he's like, yeah, just like when you were telling me, don't discuss politics at work. I was like, exactly. So now, since you may notice you're being watched, he's like, yeah, I think they was watching the cameras. So no, they weren't watching the cameras. I do breakfast. So one of the kids from his program is I have for breakfast. So they told what happened. So that's what happened. But I wasn't going to tell him that. I just let him believe that he was being caught on camera or maybe whatever he thought. So now he's nervous because the young lady who was upstairs when he had the issue with the young man and he said, don't touch me, went and reported him today about 2 hours ago. So I feel a way because you never want a person to lose their job. I don't want, especially black, I don't want anyone to lose their job or feel a way. But for him to even talk to me and we don't talk, he feels a way. And he was telling me that the girl had reported me higher up. But they said, I don't know what you got going on, but that girl does her work. So whatever you think about her attitude or whatever doesn't matter because she's working circles around all of you. So I said, I thought she reported me higher up. And he was like, I'm just saying, I was telling her you better leave her alone because, she's something else and she be doing her stuff. So I don't know who's saying what, but I know he's feeling away because people are watching him, but they're also watching the girl as well. So I wasn't mean or anything. I didn't, I didn't do anything like that. I just tried to help him to the best of my ability. And he said, see, they put juice in my bag now. Now they're giving me juice. I said, so take a picture of it in your bag so you'll know that if someone says anything about the juice, I only gave what was in my bag. I said, just do whatever you have to do to cover yourself, and that's it. So thank you for taking my call. We have a 3-day weekend. Yay. I don't have to go to work on Monday because of some kind of something. I don't know. So I'll look at the calendar. And yay. Thank you. I'll mute myself.
Veterans Day. That's why we are not hanging out in school on Monday. Why I can't go to get some of my research done. Veterans Day. James R. Thornwell. That would be one name for Veterans Day. Who is that? Oakland native, privileged black male veteran in the U.S. Army. They accused him, I think they might have even accused him of messing around with a white woman overseas, but eventually they accused him of stealing secrets, information, and all the rest of it. They gave him LSD, unbeknownst to him. He had all kinds of health, medical problems, died at a young age. In fact, that's one thing, people got free time and energy for Oakland because they have files right here in the Bay Area on Mr. Thornwell. I think I'm getting some of those files should be coming directly. Oh, it's at the... I will make sure that I get them. Yes, Mr. Thornwell, they have files right here in at the University of Berkeley's special collections. I'm going to make sure that I check that out, because that's, people should not graduate school from the Oakland area and be ignorant about Mr. Thornwell. They did a whole movie on him. They did a CBS section on Mr. Thornwell. Yep. Oh, they have pictures from the press conference that he did. Super important black veterans. James R. Thornwell. Anyway, where she talked about at the beginning, the total opposite of James R. Thornwell. They even did a dramatization TV movie for him. But where she talked about the beginning, I guess the black or different workers, many of them non-white, they were on the Zoom conference call, and she said that, I guess somebody said whatever term they used, and the person said, "Did you say twerk? Is she talking about twerk? Oh, I thought she was talking about twerking." And then the next person said, "You said we're going to do new thought, T-H-O-T." He said, "No, thoughts." Said, "Oh, I thought you said thought. I thought you did." I was going to cue it up one more time, Fuller's version or Dr. Cambon, that black people worthy of tremendous pity, silly about things that are serious about things that are silly. That's us. Not to mention, this is on Zoom. I think she said, some of the other people who participated said that was kind of embarrassing. She said, she didn't say anything about twerking. Now, even with that, now you see how everything is sexualized. Everything is sexualized. We have such a narrow way of thinking. That's a part of what being a nigger is too. Really narrow thinking in terms of what life is supposed to be about. That's what Dr. Wells can say. That's all we think about is, what's the new dance? Twerk 2.7? Okay, yeah, that's all we can think about. We're supposed to be talking about school. Helping children who need the most help. What are these behavioral plans? And all we got children biting and all the rest of it. We're supposed to be talking about, and this is on Zoom. Who knows who's watching this? That's the type of thing for sure. You gotta be behaving as though everybody in the world could have access to this. There might be a recording of this for all time's sake. Transcript. I told you, that's part of what I was doing today, going back getting transcripts from 50 years ago. They might have a transcript from this and that 50 years later. Twerk? Who said what? Twerk? Now you know that this is so embarrassing. Man, that is embarrassing. Them looking at all of that. New thought? What is that? We're in a school board meeting. What are you talking about? What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the children? You in here trying to be goofy? Or is that what you're thinking about even with the children? Twerking and all the rest of it. Man, when you play around with offspring, play around with sex, excuse me. There you go. She's working with the time now. Again, wait as long as possible before you give out all those devices. The iPads and iPhones and all the rest of it. Wait as long, because we're not talking, I don't think, the age group that she's been telling us about, Bay Area Mom, we're not talking about, 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I don't think. That's not my recollection of the people that she's been telling us about. These are kind of young folks. 10, 11, 12, they don't even have a driver's license. Addicted to all these devices at this point? No. Come on, man. Fighting, biting, and come on, man. Wait as long as possible. That's the sort of thing, maybe before you even have this child. Let's look at some research. And that could be as simple, that doesn't have to be something that's daunting, but that could be as simple as talk to some other parents. At what age did you get your child their own phone? Did you allow that your child, son or daughter, to play with your phone? How often was this just, another pacifier for them? You just, boom, give them the phone and they, get videos or game, all of the above, or whatever else on, your device. Did you give them their own phone at 6? What, were there problems with that? Did you have difficulty weaning them off? Did you put time constraints around it? Did you, put parental locks on it, to make sure they're not going to certain devices or sites or whatever? Some of this can just be ask your parents. What strategy did they use with you, your siblings, if you have any? And then ask, other parents around your age group, maybe people that have older children, obviously. What did you do? Do you have any regrets? Anything, would you do it differently, or you think you kind of hit a pretty good balance for where they are and their behavior? See what they say. This is one I would look at some research, because now you got a good body of data about all of this. Wait as long as, because I haven't heard any parents say, man, Leroy, I think he would have been a little bit better. We gave him that phone at 10. If we had given it to him at 7, I haven't heard anybody say that. Not one person. Not one person. Wait as long as possible. Even ignorant Gus T, hey, get the TV out of the house. How about that? If you're really serious and you're going to have children, that's just a monster version of the phone. Get the TV out of the house. Talking crazy. Yeah, okay. She's trying to minimize, because she's saying that the other young lady, who I think was the one who wanted to hang out with her before and trying to date at school. See, trying to date at school. Work, I should say. But she gives him the tablet device, puts the timer on 55 minutes, which is kind of like not having a timer at all. An hour for a child, like, wow. We're at school. Man, I bet you there is never a time where they put that timer on and say, okay, we are going to work on geometry for the next 50 minutes. When the clock hits 0, we will have a little snack, we'll take a break, and then we'll move on. But for the next 50 minutes starting, I bet that does not happen nary a day. You can switch geometry, English, social studies, geography, science. I bet there is nary a time where that happens. But tablet time, which is unstructured, you can just be on doing whatever. 50 minutes? That's like an hour? Why did we come to school? I could have stayed at home and just played on the tablet. Like, man, come on. You said that's supposed to be, and these are children that need the most help. Now he gets accustomed to that, so I don't get my hour on the tablet to do God knows what. You just, ooh, I got to bite you now. What? That's traumatizing as well, too. Like, I can't even imagine. She said she has the, certain training and all the rest. Man, that is traumatizing. I'm certainly not saying that, you got to go get a rabies shot or anything like that. But, I mean, who wants to get bitten on and slapped and all that abuse, physical abuse, and over a device? You couldn't get your hour of, whatever time? Jeez. Folks that have that type of a job where you're enduring physically, where that's part of the job. It's likely that you're going to be bitten by a client with this job. It's likely a child is going to slap you upside the head with this job. Man, that's you got to be taking time for you. Day off on Monday, I'm going to go to the beach, get me a massage, something cool, something, do a little love on me, because that is, man, that just, that is stressful, that is traumatizing. That's the sort of thing that can kind of grind away at your mental health, and just the toxicity of the job in general, with the conduct and what's happening all around, happening to the children and all the rest of it. Man, self-care, very important. As is not touching. I mean, certainly I can't stress enough in this sort of, really any environment in the workplace, yes, all eyes are on you. You should already be thinking that way, and that should be reflected in your conduct. But certainly around children, man, it'll be all eyes for lots of reasons. These children, might have behavioral problems or whatever, so we got to keep an eye on them and eye on the staff and all the rest of it. So, yeah, everyone behave as though you are being watched and adjust your behavior accordingly. She even said someone, I guess, went to snitch on her and, no count, she ain't doing White Bay Area, mom. Man, she's working circles around us. Metaphor. She is working super hard, diligent, competent, knows what to do. That's the way that you want to be thought of. I'm very aware that I'm being watched. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which does not include talking about the election or twerking or who I think is cute down the hall. I'm trying to help these children. That's what I want a reputation for. I'm here to help these children all the time. I'm here to help these children. Doing my job. That's the way, the best really you can hope for. People think competent, knows what they're supposed to be doing, and is here doing their job and doing so at a high competent level. That's about the best you can hope for, and even then, still a negra. That's why they was trying to go snitch on her. We didn't get this information because, man, Bay Area mom sure is cool. Let's nominate her for Employee of the Month. Bring her a bucket of KFC. That's not what she said. It was, we were going to snitch on that nigga woman. which again, that's about what you can expect. Don't think, even if you're good at it, really, if you're good at your job, you can really expect. Might be the black female who was upset. You want to go kick it, hang out at Embarcadero this weekend, maybe catch Steph Curry, Warriors game? What? You don't want to kick it? Fine then, old heifer you, and then go snitch on you and work like that's about what you can expect. VGQ, just because people are classified as black, they're not your homies. They're not your friends. You are there to be business, do your job, not socializing, highfalutin, hanging out. Other folks that are there, that not talk about politics in the election either. Here to do my job, earn as much money as I can, learn about white supremacy, racism while I am here. Wacky all the way through. Went to snitch on her. Probably do so again. Any hoodles. And even in all of that, still trying to help out, said she'll go and help out, get the little fella 15 minutes early or 15 minutes later, whatever, to help out with the transportation situation. Man. That right there. Bravo. And that's not what we get it. Like, really doing, what's the metaphor they use? Bending over backwards, doing above and beyond the call of duty to help these children. Lots of them victims of racism. Whatever. Whew. Much obliged for your efforts to help the Bay Area children, Bay Area mom. Make sure you do some self-care too, because that is really stressful, getting bitten and being, abused by having people snitch on you and the like. That's stressful too. Self-care. Any hoodles. We're supposed to be a little bit shorter. Not the full 3 hours. We went about 20 minutes over. Be that as it may. We should be here tomorrow. We should be back live feed. I thought that was going to be the case today, but I was researching and all that and just, was not really enough time to make an adequate adjustment to compensate so that I could get the live feedback. I just had to tough it out being on the Berkeley campus. But tomorrow, I think we should be back in San Francisco to broadcast. So live feed will be back. We'll do the compensatory call in and catch up on election week. Folks have had a few days to process. They talk with other non-white people. How do we have other folks who are whimpering, crying? Did they expect this? Have they been blaming black people, quarreling with non-white people around all this? We'll check in tomorrow, as with the rest of the news and updates from basically the first full week of November, headed into the wacky holiday season. Much obliged for folks tuning in, hopefully worthy of your Friday evening. Because we're going into the holiday season, 3-day weekend, even, this time around, sobriety would be best under conditions of white supremacy, racism, really till the end of the year. Gotta kind of be alert anyway, because folks will be out under the influence, partying and happy hour and reunions with friends and all that old nonsense, reason to get under the influence and go run over 5 or 10 people. Be alert. I would even maybe try to avoid the late evening driving. When I say late evening, like after 10ish, 11 o'clock, try and avoid that as much as possible. Just that's folks that are out partying and a part of all of that. The party is leaving or starting, either way. But they've had a sip or two and now got to get out. So you do not want to participate in that or be a victim of any of that. Our brain computers are needed. Sobriety would be best. Creator, we ask that you help us remain patient with other black people, victims of white supremacy. We ask that you help us remain patient with ourselves. Remind us to demonstrate the highest levels of black self-respect at all times, in all places, each and every time we are in contact with another black person. It has been time. Replace white supremacy with justice immediately. No name calling, no gossiping, no throwaway offspring. Cows signing out. Thanks all for tuning in.
Nigga, you so brainwashed. I'm a victim, brother. Problem. You're a victim. Man, I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning. Shut up. The man has programmed my conditioning. Even my conditioning has been conditioned.